The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, February 19th reveals that Phyllis Summers will take the Newman jet to Milan with a goal in mind. While Phyllis is busy working on a Summer Newman scheme, Kane Ashby will have a plot of his own. On Kane's train in Thursday's Y&R episode, he'll leave a lengthy voicemail for Phyllis and point out that she'd usually be around to gloat. Kane will understand why Phyllis took drastic action against him and will forgive her for it, but he'll also defend what he was trying to do for Lily Winters and the twins. Once Daniel Romalotti Jr. shows up and confirms that Kane's looking for Phyllis, he'll admit his mom took the Newman jet to Milan. Daniel will explain that Phyllis wants to patch things up with Summer, but he'll also suspect she wants to convince Summer to return to Genoa City and help her run Newman Enterprises. Of course, Daniel won't expect Summer to get on board with that idea, since Phyllis has really crossed the line this time. Kane will admit Victor Newman still has control of Lily and the twins, so he'll push Daniel to talk Phyllis into surrendering the company. Daniel won't think anyone can change Phyllis's mind, but Kane will have a plan that he needs Daniel's help to pull off. In Los Angeles, Holden Novak will admit to Claire Newman that it's looking like Victor may actually be behind Lily and the twins' abduction. Claire will assume it's a ruse for leverage if that's really the case. Holden will spill how Phyllis double-crossed Kane to get control of the company, so Claire will acknowledge that Kane's getting some karma right now. Since Claire won't like the fact that Holden's working for Kane, Holden will sense that she's protective of him. Holden will seem hopeful about deepening their relationship, but Claire will refuse to get serious when he's still keeping secrets. Holden will realize Claire came to Los Angeles to dig for more news on what happened with Audra Charles, so Claire will mention the missing art dealer. Claire will even speculate that there might have been a confrontation that got out of hand and an accident that was covered up. Holden will keep up his denials, but Claire's instincts will tell her she's still not getting the whole story. Until that feeling goes away or Holden decides to be honest, Claire will think they have to stop seeing each other. Back in Genoa City, Billy Abbott will be with Jack Abbott when Victoria Newman enters with Nate Hastings. That'll give Billy a chance to lash out at Victoria for daring to try and take his kids away from him. Billy will fume over the phone call he got about Johnny Abbott and Katie Abbott's boarding school readmission forms, which he'll refuse to put his signature on. When Nate tries to intervene in this fight, Billy will mock him for playing knight in shining armor and push him to back off. Once Victoria steps out front with Billy, they'll bicker over the whole situation regarding Phyllis, the Newman takeover and Billy's Chancellor grab. As far as Billy's signature goes, Victoria will insist he's going along with her boarding school plan whether he likes it or not. Victoria will threaten to point the finger at Billy over this stolen company investigation and get the school on her side. Despite Billy's fury over Victoria's revenge, she'll stand by her belief that they need to get the kids away from all the drama before it escalates. Billy will acknowledge that if there's a war, then Johnny and Katie don't need to be in Genoa City. However, Billy will complain about Victoria's timing and get her to admit maybe she wants to take him down a few pegs. Since Billy has brought on a huge fight, Victoria will think the least Billy can do is get his kids out of harm's way before the whole thing goes to hell. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy and Victoria have more face-offs in their future, so stay tuned. The story opens with a sense of urgency and ambition, the kind that crackles in the air before a storm. On The Young and the Restless, Thursday's episode pulls viewers into a high-stakes web of power, betrayal, and raw emotion, and it all begins with Phyllis Summers boarding the Newman jet. As the engines roar to life and the jet lifts off, Phyllis isn't just flying to Milan for a change of scenery. She's flying with a purpose. Her mind is already racing ahead, locked onto Summer Newman and the fractured relationship she is determined to repair or control. Every mile between Genoa City and Italy feels heavy with intention. Phyllis tells herself this trip is about healing, about mending the damage she's caused. But deep down, there's another motive simmering beneath the surface: pulling Summer back into her orbit and convincing her to return home and help her run Newman Enterprises. It's a risky gamble, and even Phyllis knows she may have finally crossed a line she can't erase. While Phyllis is soaring across the Atlantic, Kane Ashby is traveling on a very different kind of journey, one filled with reflection, regret, and quiet determination. Alone on a train, Kane stares out the window as the scenery blurs past, mirroring the chaos inside his own mind. He pulls out his phone and leaves Phyllis a long emotional voicemail. His voice carries a strange mix of sadness and acceptance. He points out how unusual it is that she isn't there to gloat, not rubbing her victory in his face. And yet, instead of bitterness, Kane offers something unexpected: understanding. Kane admits he knows why Phyllis took such drastic action against him. He forgives her, not because it didn't hurt, but because he believes he was acting for the right reasons. He defends everything he tried to do for Lily Winters and the twins, insisting his intentions were never selfish. But forgiveness doesn't mean surrender. Kane still believes he is fighting an uphill battle against a much larger force, one that refuses to let go. That reality hits even harder when Daniel Romolotti Jr. shows up and confirms what Kane already suspects. Phyllis has disappeared. When Daniel admits his mother took the Newman jet to Milan, the truth settles heavily between them. Daniel explains that Phyllis claims she wants to fix things with Summer, but he's not naive enough to believe that's the whole story. He suspects she's hoping to lure Summer back to Genoa City and place her right at the heart of Newman Enterprises. Daniel is blunt. After everything Phyllis has done, he can't imagine Summer agreeing to that plan. This time, Phyllis didn't just bend the rules, she shattered them. Kane listens carefully before admitting the truth he's been avoiding. Victor Newman still has control of Lily and the twins. The power hasn't shifted the way anyone hoped. Kane presses Daniel to convince Phyllis to surrender the company, knowing full well how impossible that sounds. Daniel doesn't sugarcoat it. No one changes Phyllis's mind when she's locked onto a goal. But Kane isn't ready to give up. He reveals he has a plan and he needs Daniel's help to make it work. Across the country in Los Angeles, another truth threatens to explode. Holden Novak sits down with Claire Newman, his tone unusually serious. He admits that all signs are pointing to Victor being behind Lily and the twins' abduction. Claire's eyes narrow as she processes that bombshell. If it's true, she assumes it's just another one of Victor's ruthless leverage plays, a chess move designed to keep everyone exactly where he wants them. When Holden reveals how Phyllis double-crossed Kane to seize control of the company, Claire can't help but acknowledge the irony. Kane, of all people, is finally facing consequences, karma catching up in real time. But the conversation takes a sharper turn when Claire makes it clear she doesn't like Holden working for Kane at all. Holden picks up on something deeper beneath her frustration: protectiveness. It's clear Claire's more than she wants to admit. Hope flickers in Holden's eyes as he talks about deepening their relationship, about moving forward together. But Claire shuts it down just as quickly. She refuses to get serious with someone who's still keeping secrets. The distance between them grows heavier when Holden realizes Claire didn't come to Los Angeles just for him. She came searching for answers about Audra Charles, specifically the missing art dealer. Claire voices the theory that's been haunting her. Maybe there was a confrontation, something that spiraled out of control. Maybe there was an accident, and maybe someone covered it up. Holden denies everything, but his words don't fully convince her. Claire's instincts scream that she is still not getting the full story. Until that nagging feeling fades or Holden finally tells the truth, Claire decides they can't keep seeing each other. The choice hurts, but uncertainty hurts more. Back in Genoa City, tensions erupt inside the Abbott family orbit. Billy Abbott stands with Jack Abbott when the door opens and Victoria Newman enters, accompanied by Nate Hastings. The moment Victoria appears, Billy's restraint shatters. He unleashes his fury, accusing her of daring to try and take his children away from him. Billy fumes about the phone call he received regarding Johnny Abbott and Katie Abbott boarding school admission forms that he flatly refuses to sign. When Nate tries to calm things down, Billy turns his rage on him too, mocking him for playing knight in shining armor and ordering him to stay out of it. Once Billy and Victoria step outside, the gloves come off. They argue fiercely about everything: Phyllis, the Newman takeover, Billy's move for Chancellor. Victoria makes it crystal clear Billy will go along with the boarding school plan whether he wants to or not. She even threatens to point the finger at him in the stolen company investigation and rally the school against him if she has to. Despite Billy's explosive anger, Victoria stands firm. She insists this isn't about revenge, it's about protecting their kids before the chaos gets worse. Billy begrudgingly admits that if a war is coming, Johnny and Katie don't need to be caught in the crossfire in Genoa City. Still, he calls out Victoria's timing, forcing her to confess that maybe, just maybe, she wants to knock him down a few pegs. Victoria doesn't deny the tension between them. Billy started a massive fight, and in her mind, the least he can do is get their children out of harm's way before everything completely falls apart. The air between them is thick with unresolved pain, resentment, and a shared fear neither wants to admit out loud. And as alliances fracture, secrets deepen, and power plays collide, one thing becomes painfully clear: this war is far from over. With more explosive face-offs looming between Billy and Victoria, the young and the restless promises even higher stakes ahead. So stay tuned.